Welcome everybody. This is gonna be a hopefully quick tutorial on DLC 100%. Getting it out there before I forget my own strats, since I'm gonna be done with this category at the time of the recording. So the objective of this category is just to get 100% on the DLC aisle. And the requirements for this are beat every boss on expert mode, get all the coins, which includes the King's Leap, and also you have to solve the graveyard puzzle, get the cursed relic, and you have to upgrade that cursed relic to a divine relic, which involves you have to fight enough bosses with the relic. Basically, it's a little bit complicated how it works, but basically there's a scoring system to where a relic can accumulate up to 16 points, and when you get to 16 points, it upgrades to a divine relic. And every boss gives you like a different amount of points. Every boss in the DLC aisle gives you 3 points, except for Saltbaker, which gives you 4, which means that the optimal way to get Divine Relic is to fight Saltbaker plus 4 other DLC bosses, and then you get one freebie, one boss that you can fight without. But we'll get to that later. The Divine Relic is required. It actually adds 6% to the file completion. And I don't think I'm forgetting anything. That's about all. And then there's a glitch that you're gonna want to make use of, since you have to beat every boss on expert. The leaderboards allow what's called the Fresh Expert glitch. You need a completed file for this, so you need to have expert mode unlocked. You just select expert on your completed file and then quit out, exit to title. Basically, the different save files store your cursor's position on the difficulty select. So as soon as you start your new file, you'll be on expert mode. And you don't have to beat the game twice, basically, like that. You're welcome, QWT. With that being said, just start the run. And this starts the typical way any run does. So you just get the intro, press start to skip it. You can dash twice for Idle Kettle. I think it's optimal to start holding right on the second dash. I actually time all my text boxes, but you don't have to. And then as soon as you're talking, you execute to map. Simple as that. You don't need any coins in the tutorial. Now, the objective is to get 21 coins by the time you're done with the King's Leap in the DLC aisle. And my route for this is to get 3 coins from Apple Guy and then 3 coins from Forest Follies. You need to beat either Forest Follies or Treat of Trouble or both Ruby and Crooks and the Root Pack to access Mausoleum 1, which you need to access the DLC. By the way, let me disable these 8 boxes. This is the practice mod I have on. And just to show you, I have expert mode selected. You can barely see it, like, off to the side of this screen. But you can mix it up in different ways. This is just what I think is faster. Talk to Apple Guy. And then you do Forest Follies. I like to skip the 3rd and 4th coin. Reason being, skipping the 3rd coin skips your parry, which saves time on the result screen from, like, not doing any parries. Skipping the 1st coin might have some potential, but it messes up the cycles for a lot of stuff in this level. So it's a little bit more difficult to make use of. Let me redo the stage. Yeah, using glitches. Right there, you can barely fit under. You can just reference Forest Follies from other categories, but oh, sorry, I got a bit of a cough here. You aim to kill that slime, and I'm gonna use the invincibility cheat here, which you can do by pressing 9 if you have the practice mod. Sorry about that. So my strat to get over this, there's different ways to get over the Acorn Maker, but if you're skipping the parry early on, I like to do the two-tone hop, which you do by damage boosting there, dashing, getting into place, and then jumping to get on top of this Acorn Maker. And then you can get past it. If I use the hitbox viewer, you can see that this Acorn Maker is just a wall with a floor to be able to stand on it. Like that. Dang it. Man, I was fine all day. And then all of a sudden... Okay, but then you get that final coin and finish the stage. If you get the parry early on, you can also do what's called the ninja clip, can get past this. There we go. And you need an EX card for this, which is... Like, you get it very early on. You get here, turn away from the wall. Oh. Man, really sorry about that. But you'd face this wall, face away, and then here you need to jump and EX on the same frame. I jumped a little bit too early. Let me give you some cards. There you go. And that's how you do it. You can clip through. And then you just get the coin. Again, you can reference for some runs if you care about an optimal ending. But those are the two main ways to get past the Acre Maker. You can also just kill it. If none of those options seem like appeal to you. And once you're done with Forest Follies, you just go to the Mausoleum. You just need to beat the Mausoleum. And then you can access the DLC aisle. That's all we need to do in the base game. It's on Speedrun.com under the Resources tab. There's not much to this Mausoleum. Really, you just want to kill the ghosts as soon as they appear on screen. There are some weird time variants that can come in this Mausoleum for reasons that we've not understood yet, but... But that's about it. There's a few technicalities. So basically, if I enable the health bar, you can see that it counts the waves. So every like wave is a spawn. And if two ghosts spawn at the same time, it counts as a wave. Spawns number 7 and 14 gatekeep you. So like the last ghost, as well as spawns number 7 and 14, you really want to make sure that you kill them as fast as possible, because no new ghosts will spawn if you don't kill those. Yeah, thank you, Diggity. That's where they are. Nah, I'm fine, I'm fine. Don't worry. And then, you know, as soon as you get done, you just talk to the boatman, go to the DLC. Once you're here in Saltbaker's scene, you can just pause and exit to map. And that should do it. Mesh Y to open this menu. Equip Chalice. You want to go to the tutorial right away. You can skip this whole puzzle. You just double jump here. And as long as you wait long enough to do the 2 dashes, to do the second dash, you can basically dash twice in midair. It seems like it's mostly just like some sort of cooldown. Then you go here, you take the coins from Paperboy, and then you can start on the King's Sleep over here. We want to get all the coins right away so that we can get some weapons as well as the relic. So get over here. This scene actually has a frame roll. Because something about the King's animations kind of gatekeep you. So, like you don't have to... You don't have to rush for him. Dashing twice doesn't seem like a time save. But you also can't be too slow or you lose an additional frame roll. Alright, for pawns. What you want to look for is one of the pawns coming down, and then you can try and kill them all from up there. That's the idea. Let me open up J2Key, just so I can get those fast retries. What's up, Fabix? Same. The Crucial. Although I'm doing a tutorial right now. So like this, you continue dashing. I should show the 8 boxes for these, actually. Because an interesting thing about this is that as soon as you parry a pawn, you can see that its hitbox disappears briefly, which allows you to dash through it. Otherwise, you could dash them from the top. If a pawn escapes and you can't really clear them all in a row, you probably want to drop down and kill the one that's trying to escape, and then worry about getting back up. That is about what an optimal fight would look like, though. Let me try and show some other patterns. Yeah, so in this case, I'm gonna need to worry about this one. And if you're really precise, you can barely get up there with a single jump plus a parry on one of the pawns, and then you milk your double jump and you get up there. Pretty tight, but it's possible. I'll just play multiple patterns just to show off how it works. Oh, I just deactivated. Hang on. I should at least activate... Oh, I guess it's just broken. I deactivated the full game timer, but I guess I didn't deactivate the IL timer, but it's just broken. Let me see if it works now. Yes, okay. Sometimes you need to deactivate it and reactivate it. And there we go. Let me play a few more patterns. This is kind of similar to one I saw before. I want to try and get one where I'm trying to kill them, but one of them escapes. Yeah, like this. I was trying to parry the previous one and then drop down and handle that one. Oh, dang. Oh boy. No, fine. If something misses, you just wait for one of the pawns to come down and then try again up here. Like this, and then if you're lucky, you can barely like use that same pawn to get back up. You can make use of your double jumps to get over. This is one you'd have to practice, basically. Okay, here we go. Ah, so a little bit early. So if you see a pawn escape like that, you need to drop down and try to handle it. If you miss, you always have a double jump, potentially. Or not always, but you could. Okay. And then, yeah, I mean, you see what I'm trying to do there. Basically. I'll move on from this pretty soon. Ah. Okay, I think you get it. I think you get it. Let me just beat this. You just parry that and then get back up. There we go. That's actually what I wanted to show off. Yeah, this is a very hard fight to perfect. If you make a mistake, you can easily lose like 10-15 seconds here. Okay, important thing. After every fight, you have a window to pause the game. And after every chess piece, you want to retry. Because that speeds up getting to the next one. And then you can fight Knight. If you play this optimally, you can do this in just by damage boosting. You wait for the first pattern. He seems to have two delays, a short one and a long one. So at the start of the fight, you can try to pre-jump for the short delay. And if he attacks right away, you can try and like dash immediately. If he doesn't, then you wait and you pre-jump for the long delay. Like this. And then you go at him. If he gives you a long delay, you just land back and try to hit him on the long one. Okay, this pattern, you handle it like that. You can get 4 parries off if you're quick. This pattern you can also handle like that. Kind of try to chase him. And then you continue on. I'll show off the continuation later. Let me try and get more patterns here. Yeah, that one, if you're fast enough, you can get 2 parries off, but it's tight and you kind of need to predict his attack a bit. Other one is you want to just do 1 parry, double jump to dodge his upward slash, and then land back and get 2 parries off, and then you continue on. I think that's all the relevant ones. The taunt only happens if you're too far from him or behind him, which is funny because after taunting he realizes you're behind him and he dashes back. Anyway, that's how I handle all the patterns. Whatever his first attack does, I just try to handle it, and then I try to damage boost into his sword like that. I double jump to give myself time if I need to. And I try to damage boost and get 4 parries off if you can, if you're really fast. More realistically, you're gonna get 3 if you haven't practiced this much. Because 4 is actually really tight, and you need to basically already stand inside this bearable hitbox and do all 4 parries from there real quick. Like this. If he kept going, I could have potentially gotten 4 parries there. If you see yourself like have to dash a little bit before getting into the parry, chances are you're only gonna have enough time for 3. Yeah, that was tight, but that was 4. That's what I mean. And then you keep going like this. If you execute everything perfectly, 3 damage boosts should always be enough to kill him without having to wait for additional time. Yeah, in this case, I think I only have time for 3, so I'm gonna back off and do that. Whoops. Ah, you can barely fit in there, but it's very unreliable. Wouldn't recommend it. If you want, you can count how many parries you get till you get to 20. I don't, personally, because I don't think there's much of a point, but... that's about that for Knight. It's a pretty simple fighting concept, it's just that the execution can be a little tight. Alright. Bishop. This is definitely one of the more random fights of the King's Leap. He always starts with this, with just like a parable head. He always kind of spawns on the right side. The hitbox mod kind of gives away where he's going to spawn. But he could be here or in the top left. You kind of need to react. Like this on the top. And then it's going to have a pattern with 3 candles lit. And which of the 3 candles is lit? It can be any of the ones on the top layer here. On the top 2 layers. So any of these 4 or the top 3. Basically every phase to the bishop has a limited amount of patterns. So like in phase 1, for example, there are 7 different patterns of like 3 candles. And which one it chooses is random. Same thing for the later phase. There's like, I think 5 possible 4 candle patterns. And it's random which one you choose. You just need to kind of develop strats around it. What I do after I hit is I just dash back and then try to react from there. For this, I like to stand on either this candle or the left one, depending on where the bell is. I'd stand on the left for this. And then once you know the patterns, you can kind of try and execute your strat on the fly. You have to do 3 phases of this, or 3 rounds of 4 candles, after which this starts with either 5 or 6 candles. Again, there's a pretty broad range of like patterns, but they're all limited. It's a limited set. I try to stand in either the bottom right or the bottom left corner, and then go from here. You can take damage boosts if you have health, but like you might want to save them for later if you're starting to be low early in the fight. Like this is already kind of unfavorable. Remember that you have a roll with intangibility in case of need. And then just try your best to follow him. So I guess back there on the top since I died. Dash back, handle whatever. I'm gonna stand on the left here. Get this handled. And then here. Cool. Now, oh, I wanted to stand on the bottom left. That's okay, that works. Or bottom right. I wanted to go to the bottom right. Gonna do it like this. No matter, like, how much you study this fight, there's always gonna be a bit of improv. Because, like, the head and the bells are gonna be the different position, as well as the candles on next phases. So, for the final phase, every candle is gonna lit. I like to stand either in the middle right or middle left. And then jump like this. And work my way backwards, like this. Get those candles, and then go for the parry. That's about it. Let me go through the fight a few times, just to show off a few more patterns. Like this, that's okay. Ah, I wanted to get that candle, that's okay. Stand here. That works. Ah, already down to 1 HP though, that's not very good. And now I need to dash my way backwards. Okay, stand here. Oh, he got in the way, so I gotta be careful here. I rolled just in case there was a bell there. And, okay. A few more times, and then I'm ready to move on. Nice. Oops. The heavy pattern can actually be a little bit awkward sometimes. But it can be really fast if you're in the right spot. Okay, stand here. Okay, if you have HP, just damage boost. And there we go. Alright, moving on. Rook is a bit of a multi-layered fight. As much as they joke about this being straightforward. So to open up, basically, what you need to know is that the bottom part of his body takes half the damage that his top part does. So if I throw a head into, like, his head, that deals 20 HP. But if I throw it into his bottom, that only deals 10. So the objective is to try and land his 8 heads on his top. And to open up, what I do is I try to dash and try to catch a head if I can. And then ideally you keep yourself airborne. If you can't and you have to back up, you can use a head that's like further behind as a backup way to get up airborne. And then you ideally try to stay airborne the entire fight like this. I try to parry each head like at least twice if it seems like I have enough time. Just to give him more time to spawn heads. Like this. This head is too far back, so I'm just gonna use it to get airborne. And then try to juggle the ones that are spawning in. Remember also that you get your double jump back after every parry. Okay. Once you're at the last one, you can, if you see the opportunity for it, you can try and send the last shot downwards. It's a little bit tricky sometimes. But it can keep you airborne a little bit long. Or it can end the fight a little bit sooner. This is one fight where I do count how many heads I've already thrown, just so I can do the faster finisher. Although now that I say that I've just lost count. I think that's the last one. Okay. Yeah, that's why. Another interesting thing, which is gonna be really hard to replicate on command. There's a way to get a double hit, which involves parrying a head on the same frame it would connect. So you'd aim to parry like as soon as it would hit. It's worth attempting if you see a potential opportunity for it. But it's not something that you're gonna get very often. I haven't seen any opportunities. But like if you see a head that's about to hit and you think you could hit it with a dash. If you have iframes, I can try and do that sometimes. And then that's something that you might want to try. Even though that's usually gonna cost you health. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and try to get it, but it's possible. Just know that it's possible. that. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's about all I have to say for Rook. I think Eternal Dark, thank you very much. Alright, moving on to Queen. This is the most chaotic fight in all of this. The opener is always consistent. She's always gonna move left. And you can always hit her with this cannon. But then there's some variants. She's gonna throw down statues, and it's gonna be random which side they're coming from. And it's also random which cannon becomes parable first. If this one, or if the one on the right. So it's random if the parries are gonna come from right to left, or from left to right. From there. What I like to do for this opener is I like to gamble on the left side cannon being parable. And I try to dash right away. Like this. And then if it is parable, I try to rush for the right side. And hopefully there's no statues and I can hit the right side cannon. Because that can set up nicely into triple hit. Even if they are parable, you can theoretically parry those statues very low. And then immediately get a second dash off. But yeah, if you time it right, that can set up into triple hit. Unfortunately, she moved right. I think there might be a bit of luck as well. But that's kind of my opener. That's what I try for. From there, it's utter mayhem. There's like nothing consistent about this fight. You're gonna try and like... This just takes practice and experience. Try and aim the cannons where you think she's gonna be. Overshot a little. Remembering that the cannons go from right to left. And there you have it. Sometimes the cannons can double hit. I have no idea what causes that to happen. But it's a thing. Oh. That. Unfortunately, she can also just choose to reverse directions sometimes. So this fight is just like... It's one of those that you can try to play the best you can, but you can just get screwed over by RNG. If she decides to be really mean. This is just very, very chaotic. That, and that's it. That sounds good. So long as it's searable. Like that. If you don't get the cannon on the left, at the start of the fight, you can dash to the right and hit that cannon sometimes. Just kind of depends. Okay. I don't know if I got 17 already. I don't know. My PB for this is 12. It's crazy how much variance there can be in that fight. But once you're done, pause, and this time you can exit to map. You'll get the coins, don't worry. So should I have 21 right now? There we go. Once you're done, the next step is to get the hints for the graveyard puzzle. Then we're gonna buy all of our stuff that we need. Get the hidden coin, and then do the graveyard puzzle. Oh, no. I'm not going for 17 minutes in 100%. So, for the hints... I talked to these guys from right to left. So I get my hint for the number 3 position first. My hint for the first position, and then the one for the second. So, let's take a step back. These guys, they basically tell you, for this graveyard down here, they basically tell you in which order you have to interact with these tombstones to solve the puzzle. And the guy at the top of the podium, he tells you, or she tells you, the position for the first. This tells you for the second, and this for the third. I talk to them from right to left just because it's faster. And then I just try to reorder them. Now, I have a personal method for this. Everyone is obviously free to use their personal method. But what I do for this is I link it to a number. So when you talk to them, they're gonna say stuff like up or up left or down right. I imagine it like a number pad on a PC's keyboard. So like up left would be 7, up would be 8, up right would be 9, left would be 4, right would be 6, down left would be 1, down would be 2, and down right would be 3. And then I try to memorize it as a number sequence. So the first participant that you talk to is always going to have 2 text boxes. The first one is always going to contain the same piece of information that tells you nothing. And then the second text box is going to contain a clue. So, I used flashcards for this, just to like kind of help me get an idea of what the text is more quickly. So, I just quickly look at this. Yeah, like that, Diggity. Thank you very much for the memorization, for the visualization. Also, welcome, Scottcathon and Star Blue. See? Someone struggled, I see. Very nice. So I'll just quickly talk to this, try to figure out what text box it is, and then convert it to a number. So here we go. Second text box. Up left, so that's 7. So I memorized 7. Then I talk to the second one. After the first contestant, basically every text box from here is just a single one containing the hint. So it's just the first time to talk to these that the first text box introduces you to the contest. So that was 7. This is down, so that's 2. So 7, 2. That's left, so that's 4. So 7, 2, 4 is the number sequence I memorized. And I need to rearrange it. So I take the number in the second position, which is the first, and I put it first. So instead of 7, 2, 4, it's gonna become 2, 4, 7. So 2, 4, 7 is the number I'm looking for. I do this because I find it's much easier for me to memorize a number sequence than it is directions. Like, I'd have to memorize it as down, left, up, left, which can be done, but I've definitely forgotten with that method. I'm like, up, left, up, right, down... Wait, was it up, left, or left? So I just find that a number sequence is much easier to keep in mind. So 2, 4, 7, I'm gonna try to remember that for a bit. First, I need to shop for items. 21 coins, I need to buy the relic first, which is 1 coin. Then I move to a weapon. I buy 3 weapons, and then I shop glitch. Like this. Then I pull up the inventory during this dialogue. To be really fast, I use spread blubber. You can also use spread charge, but I'm gonna show off spread blubber. Both are really good. So the inputs to equip spread blubber are A, tap left twice, then press A to equip blubber. Wait a little bit, because there's a bit of delay till you can do this. Press RB, tap right once to equip spread, press A, press B, then move to the super slot that's empty and just mash Y till that clears away, and then you can close the menu. Now, go left into this hidden path and get this coin. And that's actually all the coins for the DLC aisle. We're done. Now we just need to solve the graveyard puzzle, which was 2, 4, 7. So now this is where I start envisioning a number pad, and I'm like, okay, 2, 4, 7. And that's it. And now you can fight Nightmare. Remember, you start back from the center every time. Yeah. Some people do get confused by that, for sure. And once you're here, you just fight Nightmare. I do some pretty nutty strats. If you're using charge spread, you can play it safer from the center. You just keep charging... You keep just like standing here in the center and using charge whenever, you know, you have an opportunity to do so. It's a little bit slow though. The way I fight him, personally. So, by the way, in case you don't understand the mechanic of this fight, the devil is always the one that you're facing, and the angel is always the one that you're behind. So since I'm facing left, the devil is the one on the left. if I turn right, then all of a sudden the devil is on the right. And I can only hit the devil, not the angel. You need to actually face left for that. If you're facing... The angel's attacks never hurt you, but the devil's attack always hurts you. That's kind of how this works. So, my strat for this is stay here on the left. I try to get this first lobber off. And then I just try to play it very close with spread like this. You need to get very used to all the different attacks that can happen and how you want to move around them. If you see a beam coming from the right, the best way to dodge it is typically to just keep facing left no matter the cost. And then if you see it from the right, you can try and face away just for a moment that it's going through you, and then you can turn back left and go at him. I'm not gonna use the X moves yet, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. Like this. If you want to dodge the stuff coming at you from the right, you need to keep facing left and making it a point, even if it means that you're losing some damage. Sometimes you just get a rough pattern and get hit anyway. But, you know. If you want to play a risky but fast fight, this is how you do it. Now, the way you introduce the access to this fight, if you manage to not take any accidental damage, you can basically finish this fight with 3 spready X's plus 1 lobbery X. If you take an accidental damage, then you're gonna have to convert one of those spready X's into a lobbery X. And the fight is gonna end a little bit later. So yeah, if I take damage and I have an EX card, I try to jump into him and spread the X. But the delay, I save it all for later and do all intentional damage boosts. Like this. And now I can probably start going in. And should have a Library X soon. There we go. That's a 25. My PP is 23. That's already a pretty good time. A cool thing you can do with a Library X sometimes, if you have it, you can bait one of his attacks on the side with it. Let me see if I can demonstrate it. Ah, he gave me the pillar. Yeah, I can't. Just damage boost. And I went in a little bit too late, so I just used the Library X. Yes, I'm doing a tutorial on this category. Ah, took damage too soon, so now I'm gonna have to convert one of those EX moves into a lobber. Ah, dang it. Yeah, apparently this was an unused phase for Devil. Or part of this was inspired by an unused phase from Devil. Like this. You can use a Library X to kind of hover and bait that attack to the right. That's a potential thing you can do. Ah, I went in a little bit too late. But yeah, you can spread the X. Again, optimally you can do 3 spread X's and 1 lobber, and that's it. He should be done. There we go. Hey, Styx River, welcome. There we go. If you ever need to re-practice this fight, you can actually stand in front of the... You need to have solved the puzzle first, but you can stand in front of the tombstone and hold L and R on the controller. And then you can refight this. And yeah, once you've done that, you have the Cursed Relic, so you'd actually have some dialogue. I skipped it because I retried the fight a few times. But you'd have some dialogue to go through. Oh, escape plus tab on keyboard. Does it actually work? Is it confirmed? That's nice if so. But yeah, you have some dialogue to go through. You'd equip... You'd go and equip Super 1, believe me. Then swap tab with RB, equip the Cursed Relic, quit out, and then you can do your first boss with the Relic. And from here on out, it's basically just like a gauntlet of Relic fights, with one exception. You basically have one freebie that you can do with Chalice. I like to do Moonshine Mob, because I think that's the fastest fight to do with the Relic. But you technically have other options. You can basically skip one. That's not Saltbaker. Saltbaker is the one mandatory one that you can't... Like, you just have to do because he's worth more points. Yeah, Super 1 is really good for Glumstone in particular. Wait, you can talk to it from here? I didn't know that. Is this a time save? Is this real? Ha! I didn't know you could talk to it from any tombstone. Or maybe it's the... I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I reactivated it. I don't know. I really don't know. I actually didn't know that. Anyway, yeah, you start doing Relic fights, and the first one is Howling Aces here. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. That could have saved some time if that's a thing that you can do before solving the puzzle. Fair enough, Piggy. Yeah, let's just jump into it. So the Cursed Relic, what it does is it's basically a weapon randomizer. So I'm holding the shoot button and I have Lubber right now. And every time you stop shooting and reshoot, it changes your weapon. Like that. It also changes your weapon every time you dash, because that's a situation where you stop shooting and reshooting. If you use Charge Shot, you have to release the shoot button and release it to get it out, unless you get hit by something. So if you see Charge Shot, you can basically only use it once. So dashing changes your weapon. Using an EX move, so long as you're holding the shoot button, changes your EX move. But interestingly enough, if you have multiple EX moves, you can stop shooting, and so long as you let go of the shoot button, you can chain multiple of the same EX moves. So long as you don't restart shooting, because that's the act that actually changes your weapon. So dashing, using an EX move, what else? That might be it. On top of that, you go down to 1 HP. Parries don't give you supers, like super cards. You're under the effect of multiple charms at the same time. And depending on the level of Relic, they're gonna kick in at different times. So there's a bit of every level of the Relic has a specificity to it. So the base level, every 7th parry is Whetstone. Like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Or 8, I guess. Maybe 8. I don't know. I'm scuffed. Anyway, same thing with dashes. Eventually, one of your dashes will be Smoke Bomb. There we go. And the amount differs between levels. Basically. You also have the effect of parry or Heart Ring. So, after you parry enough things, you get an extra heart. And the amount of parries that you need depends on the current level of the Relic. I don't know how many. I don't remember how many it is for the base level. But that's just kind of about it for Relic mechanic. And you also go down to 1 HP if I haven't mentioned that already. So this is some really brutal fights to have to go through, especially on Expert. If this is a little bit too much for you, You can go through these bosses twice. Once on regular mode, and then you can do them with the relic. And then you enable fresh expert and do them on expert again. You can also technically go back to the base game aisles and do bosses there with the relic, but that's super slow, and it costs. Aisle 1 bosses give you very little points compared to the DLC bosses too, so I wouldn't recommend it. That's about it, I guess, for base mechanics. So the general strat is you're probably gonna want to have a specific set of weapons that you're gonna want to look for every phase, and then you just keep releasing and repressing the shoot button until you see what you want to see. For phase 1, either use spread or runabout. Either is like pretty good. But before phase 2, I also aim to start it with runabout. So if I go most of this fight with spread, eventually towards the start of this, I'll start rerolling to look for runabout. If you see some high damage weapon like Lobber and it can currently hit, you can keep it until you have to start dodging. And then, as soon as you're forced into a dodge situation, you can resume your rolling for weapons. Roundabout is my favorite. If I see Roundabout, just try to stay here. And ideally, you wouldn't dash or EX ever unless you're forced to use it to dodge something. Because that would change your weapon. For phase 2, I try to play it like this. I try to set up a trap in the horizontally. And then I try to kill the dog on top with the Roundabout. And then I try to finish that fight off with the Roundabout. If I see charge, that can be pretty good. To just like use it, and as soon as you have it ready, just release it. And then continue looking for stuff. Chaser? Oh, if you're in a dodge situation and Chaser can currently hit, it might be beneficial to stay on Chaser for a bit. There we go. Try to kill this guy. And then try to chase these guys. If you see parries, absolutely take them, because you can get up to 2 HP. And it can help for later phases, just for like extra safety, and also some situations where damage boosting can straight up save you time. So always take the parries whenever I see them on this fight. Even though it is gonna take a few parries to get there. He's done. Clear that hydrant. Try to kill this dog first, and then take care of the others. I'm on the right side now, so I guess I'm gonna handle them on the right side now. This plane can sometimes just do what it wants. It's really hard to control. And there we go. For third phase, I like to keep runabout and set up a trap like that, just in case there's a laser there. And then I try to look for spread. Got it. I use control type B, but it's preference. You're never gonna be able to kill her there, but you can end this phase on the lasers. Attacking the lasers does deal damage. There we go, barely got it. If you don't kill her there, just keep going till the screen flips and try to kill her on the second cycle. For reference, my best time on this fight so far is a 1:11. And yeah, that's about it for the strats. I'll just go over it once again, just because I went through phases 2 and 3 just like once, and I might not have shown off what I do for every pattern. But that's kinda it. This is honestly probably the most straightforward relic fight, surprisingly enough. I basically never use the X moves either. The X moves are a lot worse with the relic because using them forces you to reroll your weapon. And the fact that you can't press the weapon swap button, like it straight up does nothing, means that you can't Kalava swap. So all your EX moves are weaker. Could end this fight for a beginner. Probably somewhere around 135 is what I remember my first time being. Yeah, I should point those out. But it all depends on how you play it too. If you don't play it nearly as aggressively as I do, you might even see like 145, 155. Playstyle is the thing that matters the most. Okay, I might get a parry here soon. Okay. Ah, that was a little bit unsafe to try for. At least I got the HP from it, so I didn't die. Oh boy, that was a bit weird. My intention was to jump to the right. Like in between that laser on the right side and the machine itself. And then try to dash to stall. Okay, so now that I'm spread, I'm gonna stay on this for a bit. And in a bit, I'll start looking for roundabout. Just trying to deal some damage here. And now I'm gonna start looking for this. Because the roundabout is really good for phase 3. You can use some other weapons if you really can't find it. Sprite can kill the top dog pretty quickly, but then you kind of are forced to look for other weapons. Surprisingly, Chaser and Crackshot can do an alright job for phase 2. But I still think roundabout is the best weapon by far. Okay, I got charged, so I'm just gonna release it. I'm gonna stay on Converge for a bit there, since it could hit. Weapons with pretty good DPS are a bit of a waste to reroll immediately if you can currently hit. And then once you're forced into a dodge situation, you can change your weapon. I could have stayed on Sprite there. Use the dash since, I mean, I was getting hit there. And also I didn't have an important weapon anyway. I should probably start looking for a roundabout here. Okay. Now into phase 2, I'm gonna set up a horizontal trap, try to kill this guy on top. One hit off, that's okay. Gonna kill him as soon as he comes back. Missed it, that's okay. Unless I die. Oh boy, I don't know what I was doing there. Straight up. Crackshot actually deals about the same damage as Beast Shooter if it's uncracked. It's a weapon that once it travels enough of a distance, it cracks and it starts chasing to where the boss is. Once it cracks, it deals pretty bad damage. I think it's even worse than Chaser. But before it cracks, it actually deals some good damage. Okay. Okay, I got the roundabout, barely. Gonna try and get that, didn't get it. Might see another one soon here. Okay. Oh, he's not done. I thought that was the end of the phase. Cool. Getting some bad laser. They might be on the left. Yeah. Whenever you see a diagonal lasers like that, you might want to be ready to expect them to see similarly diagonal lasers on the other side. These lasers seem to be on a pattern list, just like Peppy and a lot of other bosses. They just follow a fixed list in order. And if you have to deal with this phase, then so be it. All right, that's about all I wanted to show off for this fight. Let me move on now. Controller, I use an 8BDU. I think it's called SN30 Pro Plus 2. Or Pro 2, I don't know. It looks like this. Anyway. Once you're here, you'd see some cutscenes opening up on both sides. The fastest path through the aisle is to go to Mortimer first and work your way anti-clockwise. And then you just fight him. with the base relic. Now, I'm gonna have to use some practice saves from now on, because after I beat this guy once, my level of relic is gonna change. That's what I recommend doing if you're serious about practice in this category. Make some practice saves, so that you can practice every boss with the appropriate level of relic that you're supposed to have. Because a different level affects the amount of super cards generation. Because as soon as you upgrade your relic, it gives a boost to your super generation of cards. It also changes the amount of parries that you need to get an extra heart. It also changes the amount of parries that you need to get whetstone and the amount of dashes that you need to get smoke bomb. Hey Moshizim, welcome. Anyway, for phase 1, I like to look for either roundabout or spread. If I see spread, I just try to stay on it. Take care of these icebergs every time, as soon as they come down. So the way I think these icebergs work is you need to hit them once to awaken them. And then once they get back up on their feet, they have pretty low health. So that means that like any weapon like roundabout or lubber, it basically always takes 2 hits to destroy them. Unless they're already awoken, in which case it can only take 1. Anyway, I'm going a little bit too fast here. So charge, if you see it, always use it. It's some really good damage. Take care of these. Twist up is actually pretty good for phase 1. You can hit in some situations very well. And if I see spread, I just try to stay on it, because that's the weapon I want for phase 2. There we go. As soon as he comes down. I like to do some cheeky, like, flicks. Like, when I move backwards, this is a very small optimization. But I like to tap left for, like, 1 or 2 frames and then turn immediately back right. If I get lucky, I only turn during the frames in which the spread shot is on cooldown. And so I can keep consistent damage. If you see that rolling pattern, jump above it. The fridge, you can just hug it. Although typically I throw in some EX moves here. For that pattern, if there's ice cubes, I like to dash on the left. For this, I like to jump and EX. Super 1 is alright too. Popsicles like that can get in the way. You might need to dash above them. And that's a bit for phase 2. Let me go a little bit more slowly and show off some more patterns. And more weapons. Because I open up that phase 2 slightly... Oh, Converge is pretty good to take care of the icebergs, by the way. If I have Runabout... Yeah, there we go. I open up this phase 2 slightly differently. So I use an EX move right there, because there's a moment in which the 2 hitboxes overlap, and you can get a really juicy Runabout. And then I start rolling for more weapons. If I see Sprite, I just stay on this. If he jumps, you stay down there. For the fridge, so you can... This is a little bit tight, but you can kind of hug it. And not get hit by any ice cubes. But then you need to be ready to dash backwards. Or move backwards a little bit. After the attack is done. Roundabout again takes 2 hits because one of them is to awaken. Once they're already awakened, it only takes 1 hit. If I see twist up, I actually stay on it. Because if he gives me a pattern, it deals some decent DPS. And if he gives me a pattern like this, I can get a twist up EX off, which is really strong. Okay, active rage again. Then as soon as I see the popsicles, I just take a step back and get back into position. Kill the popsicles because I've had bad experiences. That's a bit of a weird pattern. Escape is supposed to land a little bit closer. I guess you need to improv a little bit from there. In a way that I wasn't capable of. Okay. If you have Roundabout, you can kind of chase him like this. Where he's gonna go. Oh, I forgot about the thing. That's okay. I guess I'll just stay on Roundabout now. Yeah, because I can use a Roundabout DX, and Roundabout DX is really powerful as well. So if I get the fridge, and I'm close to having a full super meter, I actually try to use some EX moves while I'm looking for weapons. Unless I already have spread, typically. And even if I have spread, if it's early on in phase 2... By the way, you can keep hitting that linger hitbox as you're going up. If it's early on in the In the fight, I typically get off spread just to like reroll some weapons, because having the X moves handy is a really convenient way of dodging stuff while keeping the damage on. Like it is for that Blades attack. That. That's the whale. This is typically one of the most difficult fights for people to do with the relic in the whole DLC, so don't be, you know, demoralized if this is a difficult one. It takes time. Okay, so yeah, in this case, it's already enough in the fight, so I'm just gonna get off spread. And what I do is I jump, and right before EXing, I release and repress the shoot button to roll for another weapon, and then whatever weapon it is, I use its EX move. That's because potentially I can get a much better EX than spread. You could get unlucky and get Chaser, but if, for example, right before that you get Twist Up, then you end up getting a lot of value off of that EX. Same thing here. Oh boy. Yeah, that popsicle was a bit nasty. And I'm glad to hear this informative anyway. And I'd also aim to, like, you know, do the same fight multiple times, because I think the thing that matters the most for this category especially is playstyle. So I basically feel forced to show off different patterns and how I handle them. Okay, use a roundabout EX here. I can try and swing it back if you feel cheeky. You can take a step back here if that doesn't look good. And then into phase 3. We'll go through phase 3 now. Okay, so the first side he faces is the one that is gonna end up on. So in this case, he started facing left first, so it's gonna be on the left. You always wanna be on the top of this platform, on like towards this like face level, as opposed to his bottom, just in case you get this attack, because this is a really quick attack where he gets an hitbox out very quickly. So it's really dangerous if you're on his bottom like this. Unless he's upside down, in which case it flips. You want to be on his top part. I handled that poorly. That eyeball is pretty difficult to manage when he's upside down. Like so. Next move there. Oh, that was probably a mistake though, to use it there. At least I still have cards. Okay, I'm gonna use a different EX just to make it not spread. And now we're done. Okay, right side. If you see that eyeball, you can dodge it like that without having to use an EX move. It's a little bit tricky, but it's possible. Oh, this attack sucks. You might want to keep an EX for this. Okay, in that situation, it seemed like the only way to dodge it was to use an EX. So I just did it, even though it was Super 1, which is a little bit weak. I'll go through that final phase a few more times, and then I'll move on. Okie dokie. See, in that case, all my chaser shots were connecting, so as I was approaching him, I just stay on the chaser. Because rerolling them would have... Rerolling my weapons would have probably meant that I was gonna miss something. Until I'm, you know, was a little bit more in range. And so if I got something like Roundabout or Lubber, then it would have hit. But if I already start on spread, then I think it's worthwhile to stay on spread. Oh, I was a little bit too aggressive there.
A brawl is surely brewing. You're up.
Okay, staying on spread, since I'm almost at the full. Even if he did fridge, I would have got enough spread and tried to use an EX move. Okay, if you have twist up like that, you can let go of the shoot button and just unload on EX moves. Twist up EX is really powerful. Okay, we got spread, that's it. If you're already on spread, I think it's worth staying on spread unless you're forced to EX to dodge something. Even that, I could have probably dodged it without. Okay, let me stop shooting just to show you how to dodge some stuff now. Like that. That you can also just stand at a distance and dash for. But that would force you into rerolling weapons. That. You can dodge it like that, potentially. And see if I can get into get upside down. Okay. So this is just a continuous splat drop. He's back. Normal orientation. Okay. So for this you might want to have something like Lubber if you're forced to play at a distance. Ah. He got me. I do want to try and show off upside down eyeball. Is the thing that is particularly tricky that I haven't really shown off a good way for. I was kind of attempting it earlier. Sometimes I do a plat drop and dash backwards. Plat drop is an abbreviation for platform drop. So you hold down on a platform and press jump to drop through. Okay, I'm gonna unload an EX just to keep my cards away from being full. There we go. I like to use EX moves a lot in this fight. If I see roundabout, I stay on it because you can set up a pretty good trap for this phase and then start looking for other weapons. So, oh, I didn't need to dash that way. I meant to dash back to the right on a platformer. Bishutor can also do a pretty good job there on the opener. But then I switch off of it pretty quickly. Just unload a few X moves. Oh, this is funny. There we go. Oh, I got too close. You can have a lot of fun swinging the roundabouts back like that. Okay. Right side. Okay, I'm gonna have to wait for the... Okay, this... Ah, that was an example of upside down eyeball. It is the trickiest. Okay, let me cheat a little bit. We're gonna cheat. Just get to final phase real quick. I just dealt 10 times damage with a cheat. Okay. I have invincibility on as well, so if I accidentally die, it shouldn't be an issue. Or get hit. I shouldn't die. Just imagine I'd have spread or something. Alright, flip back to the left. Oh boy. I'm not sure I'll see an upside down eyeball anytime soon. With how this is looking. I just need one pattern for you. Come on, man. Okay, there we go. You can stand from a distance. Then you can EX move pretty low and dash back. That's an option, but it's not completely safe. Or... a more safe alternative would be to just play it from a distance and dodge the apple from farther back. It's honestly a pretty rough pattern, but that's just kind of my strategy for it. Alright, I'm done with this. Let's have a beaten him on this file? Yes, I have. So technically I was playing with the wrong level of relic for a bit, but it didn't matter too much. I just boosted my super generation, and I don't go for any parries during that fight also, as you might have noticed, because they're all really awkward, and for the base level you need, I think, 3 parries. Yeah, I think it's the same for rolling aces. You need 3 parries to get an extra HP, so I just don't think it's worth it. Gonna hopefully remember for Glumstone to change my save file though. This is the next one. This is another pretty rough one. Phase 1 is really hectic. It can evolve into some really difficult situations to dodge. If you're forced to go down here, just keep moving back, and so long as you have somewhere to continue going towards, somewhere to like continue going towards, the spikes shouldn't hit you. As far as the weapons that I'm looking for, Twist Up is a good opener. Some other stuff like Lobber deals some pretty good damage. Ideally you'd have Spread. Lobber is pretty good too though. I don't necessarily look for Spread in this at the start of this fight. Because Lobber can hit even if like you have to stand from farther back, or if he does geese and you have to play it from below. Oh boy, that was a little scary. At this level of Relic, you would need 2 parries to get something, and I actually tried to look for it. That's 1 parry. Next one gives me a heart. There we go. Definitely worth it for this fight in my opinion, because there's a strat in phase 2 in particular where you can use Super 1 to deal double damage, but it's not completely safe, so having that extra HP is nice just in case you get hit. And also just for general safety. Converge is another good weapon to have for phase 1, and the good thing is that Converge is also a weapon that I use for phase 2. So if you already have it from phase 1, then you don't have to reroll. There we go. So if I'm not forced into a dodge situation or whatever, I'm just gonna try to stay on Converge. Locking makes this hit more easily for more damage. That was a dodge situation, or like a dash situation. So now I'm forced to reroll. We got charge. Got hit anyway. Should be done pretty soon. Okay. Roundabout is a good weapon to start with too, because it can set up into this trap. And then I'll show off the double damage. This is kinda how you want to play it with Roundabout. Oh, okay, I missed it already. But what you can do is you can get close to one of these puppets. And then jump and use Super 1. You can hit both puppets because they have a hitbox on the top. As you can see, there's like this rectangle where the head is. And so Super 1 can hit in front of you for the puppet on the other side. And Super 1's vertical hitbox can hit the puppet on the side where you run because it can hit its head like that. That's the idea behind it. There we go. Already. I was at 2 HP, but then I lost it immediately. Okay, we're gonna... If I forced into a bear dodge, I use any X move typically. Yeah, it's a pretty specific thing. Okay, still looking for weapons. Ah. Okay, fine. Let's stay on Converge. Now I'm forced to dodge. I'm gonna try to land on the right side where the gnome isn't. Could kill that gnome, but it's okay. Okay, charge, so I'm just gonna keep this for now. Hey, Jabap! Thanks for the gel. If you still need parries, you can get them here in phase 2, theoretically. Although they're a little bit awkward. Try to get away from the sides unless you really need to stand there for a bit. Because gnomes can spawn below you and you can't see them because of the foreground. Couldn't hit him, that's okay. Wait, can I... Ah. Let's try to keep that into play. Okay, so due to the super meter, I can actually get to 5. And so long as nothing goes horribly wrong, I can probably get to 5 and immediately pop it, and it might have killed. Unfortunately, this only works if they're low to the ground like this. You need to wait till the puppet is at ground level. And that's one of the reasons why Super 1 isn't completely safe, because the ball has a lingering hitbox and it can hit you like that. You'd want to look for spread during the phase transition here, and then try to chase him a bit till you can, and then you switch to something like... Chaser could have actually hit there. Twist Up can hit at certain distances. Roundabout is my personal favorite for this phase. Converge is pretty good too. Shooter is pretty good in certain situations. And then you just try your best to finish him off. Okay, so since I have the wrong level now, I'm gonna quit out of the game and reload. I have some practice saves set up, just so I can practice these fights with the right relic. Yeah, the ball hitbox is... It has multiple things that you gotta watch out for. Like after you finish phase 2, the ball just kind of lingers there where it was for like a solid second. That's another thing that it has. If you're not careful about it, it can definitely like throw you off guard. I'm on regular mode. A second. Whoa. Yeah, that was a little bit tight. Converge EX actually doesn't deal that much damage, so I usually try to reroll its EX. Right before throwing it out. I release and repress the shoot button and then press EX. Try and get the EX of another weapon. Okay, still looking for a parry potentially. Unfortunately, I'm killing all the parable gnomes. Okay, I'm gonna go for it anyway. This is super unsafe and I wouldn't recommend it, but... And then after you use it, you mash dash to get away. Okay, I got spread. You can also use charge shot if you see it. Just charge it and release it as soon as this phase starts. You wanna hold down right as you're coming into this hole, so that you land right in the center platform. Okay, we got spread, so I'll try to chase him a bit here. And there we go. Final phase is honestly probably the most straightforward. There's not much more to it other than the things I mentioned. I think that's gonna do it for this fight. Let me move on. Next is Moonshine Mob. This is the one that I use my freebie on, because this fight is terrible with the relic, especially phase 3. There's just, I couldn't find a single good strat. So I think this is the one that gets sped up the most by having Lubber Spread and Chalice. Charge Spread is really good for this fight as well, but I'm gonna be showing off Lubber Spread strats. And yeah, I'm not even gonna show off relic strats because I don't have them. I quit. I immediately realized that this was the fight I wanted to do without the relic as soon as I like started experimenting with the relic and decided that this wasn't it. Yes, Aksu, welcome. All right. So this is similar to how you do it in an 80% run, except it's on expert mode. Instead of Lubber Trap right there, if he stops, I switch, you know, I'll try to go ham on him. And the objective is to not get hit. Obviously, you want to try and finish this phase with as few cycles as possible. But if you have to prioritize something, don't get hit. Because if you get hit a single time and if you still want to do these phase 2 strats that I'm going to show off, you can get a mega Lubber Trap there. But to get a quick kill, you basically want to do 2 damage boosts, and then you're gonna be left with 2 HP for final phase. You can get another Lubber Trap there. And by doing this strat, you have about a 1 in 3 chance of dying, because if he does the tongue attack at the top, you're just dead. There's no way that I know of to dodge that hit unless you kill him before he hits you. That was the entire fight. I'm gonna go through it a few times, but I'm probably not gonna stick to this the longest because there's not much to this fight besides just learning the strats. Again, for phase 1, like, open it up with this Lubber Trap. As soon as he got off screen, you can try and set up some Lubber Traps that will hopefully hit as he comes back on, like this. I typically dash if I have to go through a bomb on its same level. And that's that. Oh, if he summons these, it's typically really bad for this phase because they eat a lot of your Lubber Trap. So the skill might very well not work. Yeah, if that happens, I try and set up a Lubber Trap on the left side and let it finish her off. Because if you try to kill her on the right side, she actually hangs, like, as she's coming back up on, you know, outside of the screen through the, like, gramophone. She actually hangs on the side of the screen that you killed her on. So if you kill her on the right side, she's actually gonna eat this entire Lubber Trap, which is really bad. I actually prefer delaying the kill and killing her on the left side if that happens. Okay. There we go. Never final phase, you can set up that Lubber Trap and finish this tail off. One more time, but I think that's about all I want to show off. If you have 2 HP for final phase, or for phase 2, then honestly I have no strats. I just cry. I'll honestly retry if I get hit 2 times in phase 1. Because it can be really bad. Okay, so this is a good opportunity. Just stand here and throw lubbers. Drop down. Stand back. 2 lubbers. Do your first damage boost to spray the X's. Try to jump over that. Spray the X and she's done. She stops taking damage right about there. I should probably use this. I do that. Get on the left side. Oh, I missed. Otherwise, that could have killed. Oh, he dodged it. That's okay. I had health. My PB for this fight is 48. I didn't mention my PBs for anything other than Howling Aces. But Howling Aces is 111. My PB for Mortimer is 104. My PB for Glumstone is 112. And my PB for this fight is 48. Oh, I accidentally dropped down. Heads up, that guy. Yeah, that's my strat. Just cry. It's a good strat sometimes. To let it all out, you know? Aw, dang it. If you get hit, you can continue on as normal, but then it's just a chance of dying to final phase. If you want to do that strat. Otherwise, you'd just stand on the other side and throw lubbers from the opposite side. Okay, this could be really bad. Because these minions are gonna eat up my lubber trap. Okay, got her. That's about where she stops taking damage, and then I stay there, do 2 jumps, get this mega lubber trap, then go on the left side and do this. If I see a short tongue on the top, I use an EX move. Yeah, so that's a pattern that just kills me if I have 1 HP. I don't know any way to dodge that. That's Badalo. That's 1. This is a much more scripted fight, obviously, since you don't have to use the relic on it. Nice star skip. Alright. I think I can beat Esther with the relic and have it be at the appropriate level that it should be. Let me see. I'm gonna cheat again. Enable the 10x damage. Okay, just keep in mind that that wasn't real. I just needed to get the relic upgraded. Yeah, this is the level that you usually have the relic at this point. So Esther, you do also have access to bombs for this fight. Again, the relic randomizes your weapon even among the ones that you don't currently have. So you can use bombs for this. She always does snake oil for the first attack, so I always get close and use bombs because she has 2 hitboxes here. She has her face and the snake oil. And they actually both take damage, so the bombs can hit both. The splash damage can deal double damage. So the bombs, since a bomb is a component of direct damage and splash damage, if you aim the bomb properly, you can basically deal 1.5 times as much damage. I also do throw out a parry, because in this fight, every 3rd parry is a whetstone. So if I throw out a parry and then I get that, now that my next parry is whetstone, and I can, you know, sneak in some little bit extra damage there. Okay, snake oil again, so I'm gonna switch to bombs until she's done. In a case like this, I'd have to just play it from a distance. Being that close and using mini bombs is not always safe. So if it becomes a bit of a bullet hell, you can just step back and use the machine gun. Okay. Use whetstone. Now I'm gonna... I was trying to try and parry again, just to set another whetstone up, but... got a little bit too close there. There we go. You can hit her arm during that cut. Okay, that's a bit of a bullet hell. I'm just gonna stand back and use my machine gun. That's about it for phase 1 though. But yeah, you can hit her arm during the cactus attack. I like to throw out one EX at the start of that, just to kind of get it out. But the real spot where you want to use the EX moves is here, because she has a very large hitbox. And to use the EX moves, I use the EX, and now I'm back to bombs. So I need to release and repress it to immediately get back to machine gun, and then I can use another EX move. Release and repress EX, release and repress EX. That's how I'll play that. Look for parries. The first parry is a heart. For phase 3, I play it up close if I have 2 HP. But if I get hit, I get away and play like this. I typically stand on top with mini bombs if she's on the bottom. Or I just stand afar with machine gun if she's on the top. And then for final phase, it's pretty straightforward. Just try your best to dodge this. If you have a nuke, get close. If you have whetstone, you can use it. You can keep getting parries because you can get enough parries to get a second heart here. Which could allow you to damage boost in spots. I don't remember how many parries it is, but it could be beneficial. Yeah, thank you, Kunda. Yeah, I got the run. Got the run that I'm happy with for now. And that's about it. Actually, I think it back. This fight might be more straightforward than Howling Aces, just because it's a plain fight. So the weapon randomization doesn't come as much into play. Okay, throw the X out. Try your best to dodge. As soon as she kneels, start using X's here. Accidentally use... Oh man, I'm using Bombi X's. Okay. Messed up a bit there. I took an accidental damage, so I'm gonna play it from afar as well. Steam says that I have 3,000 hours of playtime. Although that includes a lot of idle time. Like Steam does. It just includes idle time. Okay. Use the nuke. Or after nuking, I like to try and fish for a whetstone. Yeah, I usually have lost count for like if I currently have whetstone loaded or not. So I just try and fish for that parry after nuking. Okay, snake oil, so we're gonna get close. Okay, X's. Get the parry. And if I have 2 HP and a few EX moves, I typically try and use EX moves for this phase as well, because they do deal more damage. But if I have 1 HP, I'll typically try to save for a nuke instead. Oh, whoops. Okay, final phase again is pretty straightforward. We can damage boost. I don't think taking parries is useful anymore at this point, but... Okay. There we go. That's a pretty good time. My PB for this is 116. I thought I had a 115, but honestly I think I might have been playing on regular mode without realizing. So... I'm just gonna say that it's 116. Anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to show off. Now you just have Salt Baker left, and then the run is over. Again, don't do any menuing. You just walk out to Salt Baker, and that's it. For this, I like to jump and dash once, jump into the hole, and try to get a dash off that step. And then just keep dash and jump dashing. Skip this cutscene, and you're here. Alright. Welcome Afterlife. I don't know yet, Kunda. We'll see. Right, so for phase 1, there's 2 good weapons, I think, for this. Crack Shot and Twist Up. Crackshot is good because you can hit for pea shooter damage pretty reliably, as long as you're like close enough to him. But if you wanna dodge some stuff, which you're gonna be forced to constantly during this first phase. Oh, I whetstoned him instead of parrying that cube. Then you still hit for some damage. And then on this cycle, I actually try to finish him up with Super 1. It's not always safe. But if you see a clearing, you can Super 1 and get a bunch of over damage into phase 2, which allows you to skip a few salt shakers. Or pepper shakers. The first parry and your third parries are gonna be hearts, extra hearts for this. So keep that in mind. You can also get a third heart sometimes. I don't remember after how many parries that is. Whoops. Felt forced to dash there. This might not be safe. Oh, it didn't even kill, so we're going through an extra cycle. Not a big deal. He does a bit of a lingering hitbox after he's done attacking. So, keep that in mind. Let's see if I can get Twist Up, because this is the other good weapon. I'll just basically keep changing weapons until I see... There we go. Twist Up or Crackshot, and then I'll just stay on them. Twist Up is good because you can stay sort of in the center and hit him very well with it. Of course I died immediately, but... Okay. We'll stay here. For Sugar, you're gonna have to switch directions a few times, because he likes to move around a lot more. Like this. Certainly if I'll have Super 1, I'll go for it. And we're good. Okay, so one thing you want to know at the start of phase 2 is that you're forced to release and reshoot anyway. So you want to end phase 1 with a weapon that you know for a fact you're not going to be using. I like to finish this with Crackshot or Converge or Chaser. Those are two weapons that I basically know I'm not going to want to at least open up the fight with. Once you're here, release and reshoot. I try to look for Roundabout. Roundabout is by far the best weapon for this. I'm trying to set that kind of stuff up. Kill one of these. Then go back, kill that. And some of those roundabouts are gonna hit and immediately kill the Pepper Shaker. If you have a nice flow on this, the flames actually cooperate really well for this. I think this is by far the best weapon for phase 2. Anything else is kind of an improv fest. I'll try to show off maybe some things. But it's gonna be a lot of experience in just like knowing how to best use each weapon for phase 2. If you see Roundabout right away, I'm at least a very happy man, because it usually means that I'm gonna have a very, very fast phase 2, and typically pretty safe too. I messed that up a bit. If you have Spread, then you can currently hit free well with Spread. I just keep it, because it deals some really good damage. But if you're forced to dodge, then start rolling weapons again. Crackshot is alright for phase 1. Oh, whoops, I whetstone him. I could have stayed on Spread there. Okay, a bit misplayed there. Oh, it's decent. Yeah. It's not something I'd open up with, but Crackshot it is kind of alright because if it allows you to like keep dodging and like hit Assault Shaker like pretty much every shot. But you're gonna hit with the weak shot a lot. So it's not particularly fast. It's better than some other weapons, that's for sure. Wasn't quite looking for weapons like I said I would, but... Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. We got the roundabout again, so... Like that. Then walk out. As soon as that flame jumps, I'm gonna move to the left side, kill this shaker. Move here. Kill this one. You can see, like, this has a really nice flow to it. I got hit by accident there. That's okay, but it's over. Let me try to show off some other weapons, because you're not always gonna see it right away. You can try and reroll for Runabout, but that might take a while. And it's not gonna have nearly as good of a flow in terms of like how it coordinates with the flames as it would if you get it right away. Oh, a bit far right there. Not the strongest. Phase 1, but... Okay. I got it again. Let's try to show something else off. I guess I could have kept rerolling for weapons, like I was there. Okay, we got twist up. Got hit. Ah. This is a really hard fight, if it wasn't apparent already. That and go for it. There we go. That's some really nice over damage. Okay. Beast Shooter can be nice because it can hit stuff diagonally like this. But normally I just try to reroll for weapons in a very chaotic way. And then you can get Runabout, but then other times you're gonna be forced to dodge. You can use EX moves to speed stuff up if you're really forced to. Charge Shot is good because... Well, it's Charge Shot. Well, it basically gets 1 HP off, I think, of killing these shakers. Lubbers take 5 hits to kill a shaker. So, like, all you have to do is hit 1 Charge Shot and then any other weapon to kill a shaker. It gets very chaotic. You can use EX moves when you have them, and they're good, but... That's just, it's very improv heavy if you don't get Runabout and don't end up having good use for it. Hey, Gabber, welcome. Thank you very much. And welcome, Diego Gamer. Thank you for the raid of 4. Appreciate it. Hope you had a good stream. Alright, the start of this phase, I try to look for Lobber. Because it sets up a trap, and then I just use... I typically have to dodge out of the way and use whatever other weapon I get. If I don't see Lobber quickly enough, I can also use charge. And then dash away and use whatever weapon I have. And for this phase, I legit, no joke, just use Chaser. If I have Super 1, I can try and use it to finish him off. But it's not. This one is not particularly fast or required either. That's Super 1, I mean. 42, 28 PB on all bosses, Dagasi. Nice! GG. Okay, let me try and show off those final few phases a little bit better and maybe some more phase 2 without Roundabout. You're welcome, Lovoli. Okay, got a nice phase 1 going here. That might not have been a perfect moment to use that. Oh, well. Yes, I'm making a tutorial. Alright, we got the Roundabout. Whatever, we're just gonna use it. Oh, yeah, that was a tricky situation. So now I'm forced to reroll. Lubber is pretty alright. 2 Lubbers plus a Lubber EX can kill a Shaker, but that's a little bit finicky to do at the top. Oh, whoops. EX the wrong way. Oh, I had runabout. Okay, fine. Okay, if you have lubber, you can set up a trap here in the center. Or anywhere you prefer. And then dash away, and use whatever weapon you get. If I see Chaser, I just skip it. Because there's a chance I might be able to carry it into final phase. Sometimes you're forced to dash for these platforms, though. So you're gonna have to keep rerolling weapons. Crackshot is alright for this phase, too. So if I see Crackshot, I also use that. But Chaser, I think, is preferable. Tutorial for 100%. Okay, Crackshot, so I'm just gonna keep this. Oh. Okay. Like that. Yeah, twist up is also a weapon I basically never want to use as an opener. Although it does have one niche. You can hit one shaker at the top. And basically kill it. Whoops. Okay. If you don't see lubber quickly enough, you can just use charge as well. That's another option. Or just not have an opener at all. Okay, Crackshot is alright. I like Converge a lot for this. P-Shooter can also kind of chase him. I still haven't gotten a platform pattern that requires you to dodge, but they do exist. A cheeky thing you can go for on this heart. You can whetstone it. But you can only deal damage to it while it's gray. And that's it. Again, you can use Super 1 to finish it off, but it's not particularly fast. Hey Nish, welcome. Yeah, the Curse Relic is required for this category. Alright, I think that covers about everything that I... Well, not everything, but like I'd be here for like 20 hours. That covers the most important things, I think. Like, all important things about this category that I know so far. It's a really hard one. You know, having to fight most of these DLC bosses on expert mode with the Relic is difficult. But... I do find it very enjoyable. It's like I feel like the weapon randomization adds an element of like adaptability and chaos that this game didn't already have, surprisingly, because it's already like pretty random and RNG heavy, but the weapon randomization is just next level, and I find it really fun to like have to adapt and improv some strats on the spot. Really punishing category. If you get hit once in the wrong spot, it's just over. But I do invite you to try. This is one of my favorite categories, personally. That's it. Have fun. Hope this was helpful. World record tutorial. Oh, join the Cuphead speedrunning Discord. Exactly. If you have, this is important. If you have any questions about this run, or anything like more specific, mechanics, whatever, we have a Cuphead speedrunning Discord full of helpful chaps. You can find it on speedrun.com. I might have a link in the description, but if not, you can find it on speedrun.com. Go to the Cuphead page for speedrun.com, so speedrun.com/Cuphead if I'm not mistaken. Or you can go to speedrun.com and Google and search for Cuphead in the search bar. And then, towards the top of this page, there should be a Discord icon that you can click to join. Or however else the site is gonna look like when you're watching this. You should look for a Discord invite link. It should be there. That's all. You can just ask your question there and probably have it answered pretty quickly. if I'm not forgetting... Oh yeah, this practice mod, again, it was mentioned at the start, but it's also on spindle.com in the resources tab. You can find the download link as well as installation instructions. And that's that. Enjoy.